This spring, purple flowers will erupt from your yard, and yet most people have no idea. In fact, right under your feet as you walk to the car, mow the lawn, or play soccer, is this plant, one of the world's most overlooked medicinal weeds. Maybe you know this as a medicinal herb, but given its common name as Red Dead-nettle or Purple Archangel, it's worth knowing all of the basics first. And if you don't already know it, stick with me. I'll transform how you see this little plant and your entire yard forever. Purple dead-nettle. I don't know about you, but to me, this looks nothing like a nettle. This is a nettle that I found last year, and this is purple dead-nettle. You see, the story of archangels and dead nettles is really much deeper than that. Here's the story. This little herb, Lamium album, is known as white archangel in Europe, or white dead nettle. Here's why. If you've ever fallen into the nettle plant, you'll quickly learn to identify it. And this herb is definitely a doppelganger. Yet there is no sting, no mini daggers on the stems and leaves to give you pain. Thus, the stinging nettles are dead. Also, it has healing powers. It is a soothing and gentle herb, and excellent for green wound healing. More on that in a second. In other words, it has an aura of benevolent intervention, like an angel disguised as a common plant. And much like the white dead nettle in Europe, its cousin here needed a name to distinguish it, and hence the purple dead nettle. And that is why it's really not easily mistaken for a nettle, but it shares the dead nettle name. Now, if you're like me, you might also be wondering why everyone online raves about this as a medicinal and an edible when the first response when you eat it is something like this. Tastes a little slimy to you? A little bit? It's like grass from a lawnmower.
Grass, but slightly more mild.
I think the reason people might do that or attempt to do that is that, you know, if you pull it up, it looks pretty similar to, say, my mints here, which are pretty fun to snack on. And botany lesson time, purple dead nettle is a mint. Mints are distinguished by a couple of things. Mainly, they have square stems. If you roll them through your fingers, you can see that. Their leaves, like this, are opposite of each other. And if you can see flowers, they're often in whorls around this stem. Much like this other easily identifiable herb that grows up this time of year, this is not purple dead nettle. This is henbit. But don't worry, if you mistake one for the other, not a big deal. This is not dangerous. It is edible and is medicinal, much in the same way as purple dead nettle. So, what is going on inside of this plant? Well, inside of the leaves and the flowers and the stems are chemicals that are the reason it has been used as an herbal for centuries. Here is what the current science can tell us. Quercetin is an anti-inflammatory and is known for its antihistamine effects, which is why it's been used as a tea to help with seasonal allergies.
I'm collecting all these dead nettles because I have allergies.
Rosmarinic acid and caffeic acid are anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial. That, along with astringent tannins, are why it's used as a poultice to put on wounds for wound healing. It also has mucilage in it, a slippery gel-like substance that you'll notice in the tea, which is why it's good for soothing sore throats. And like many plants, it has a lot of antioxidant-like compounds. It also has vitamin C, calcium, iron, magnesium, which is good for your immune health, it's good for your bone health, and your energy levels. All of that together is why it's been used as a tea, a tincture, a poultice, or these fresh leaves just eaten raw. I'm not really a big fan of eating them raw. I think the tea is definitely the way to go, and I'm gonna let Haley explain her special recipe. But first, a reminder. Wild teas are fantastic. There are a lot of spring flowers that you can put into springtime teas, including chickweed, dandelions, plantains, violets. And if you want caffeine, you can get your tea from Yaupon holly. This plant, Yaupon holly, which I showed in this last video here. But let's get back to the tea from purple dead nettle. If you're gonna use the plant, here's one way to do it.
I infused in oil and I made a tincture. So if you put the dried leaves in with oil and let them sit, you get a really nice infused oil. And if you put the dried leaves and flowers in with some vodka, then you have a great infused tincture that you can put into your tea. Both of these are really great for helping with your allergies in the future. This one can be used to put and make into a balm and a moisturizer, both of which I'm doing. And also the easiest thing that you can possibly do would be to just dry the leaves and put some hot water over them and you have a tea. And it'll help with your seasonal allergies.
Of course, not all herbs can be turned into teas, and that's why it's really important that you look for the toxic plants in your area and you know those first. Like wisteria here has beautiful and edible flowers, but the seeds are very toxic. If you want the lowdown on this plant, well, I encourage you to watch this one that we made next.